My name is Rosha. So today I will explain about control environment from auditing perspective. First of all, there are 5 components that I will talk about in this topic, which is definition, purposes, third, internal control, which is COSO, fourth is principles, and at the end of my presentation, I will give the example of some cases that happen in our real life. So first of all is, what is the definition of control environment? Control environment is the comprehensive set of actions taken by management that set the tone for how employees engage in their day-to-day activities. The control environment is comprised of all policies and procedures and the actions taken by management to deal with issues. The next one is purposes. The purposes of control environment is to provide guidance to the internal auditor on the significance of the control environment, on how to determine which elements of the control environment should be addressed by engagement in the periodic audit plan, on how to scope, staff and plan such engagements, and which items to consider in performing related audit work. Next is, I will explain about the 5 principles related to control environment. The first one is demonstrate. Next, I will explain about internal control, which is COSO. COSO is Committee of Sponsoring Organizations of the Tradeway Commissions. Which is COSO is developed a model for evaluating internal controls. This model has been adopted as the generally accepted framework for internal control and widely recognized as the definitive standard against which organizations measure the effectiveness of their system of internal control. So there are 5 components of COSO, which is the first one is control environment. Control environment is a set of standards, structures and processes that provide the foundation for performing internal control within the entity. The second one is risk assessment. Risk assessment is a process used to identify, assess and manage risk to the achievement of the entity's objective. The third component in this framework is control activities. Control activities are actions taken performed under the direction of management as directed by an entity's policies and procedures to mitigate the risk to the achievement of the entity's objective. The fourth component in this framework is information and communication. Information and communication is the distribution of information needed to perform control activities and to understand internal control responsibilities to personnel internal and external to the entity. The last component is monitoring activities. Monitoring activities are ongoing evaluation of the implementation and operation of the 5 components the last part of my presentation, I will give example about the real case happen in the real life, which is in the Toshiba company. The Toshiba focused on consultation service rather than assurance service. The observation of the committee give the impression that the fault of the internal audit in Toshiba was it focused on consultation service rather than assurance service. The internal audit shouldn't provide consultation service. It was not the fault of the internal audit that provided the consultation service, but the real fault is that it didn't pay attention to the accounting audit. And the next one is, audit committee was neither capable nor independent. Internal audit can function independently only if the audit committee is capable, independent and effective, and the internal auditor reports to the audit committee. In Toshiba, the audit committee was neither capable nor independent. The 3 external members of the audit committee had no knowledge of finance and accounting. An ex-CFO, who was the CFO during the time frame when accounting irregularities occurred, was the only whole-time member of the audit committee. And the last one is a corporate culture existed at the Toshiba whereby employees couldn't act contrary to the intent of their superiors. In such culture, an upright internal auditor cannot survive, particularly if he is not independent of the management. Perhaps it is the reason that the internal audit in Toshiba had chosen the easy path of focusing on consultation service, only without reporting internal control weaknesses. That's all from me. Thank you.